What's up, everybody? We're back again, a little back-to-back action on Tuesday. It's episode 150 of the Dadbod Golf Pod. You got Kyle, Ben, kicking it back old school with the old school radio DJ, ready to rock, ready to rock and roll.
Old school would us be doing it on the radio, recording it into the system on the radio with zero video. Just have the Dadbod Golf Pod logo just twirling in the center of the YouTube screen.
Absolutely. But we're gonna have fun tonight. It's gonna be another quick show since we go back to back. But we're gonna recap the finale, the finish, the grand, whatever you want to call it,
the grand poobah,
the grand poobah, TPC Sawgrass, the Players Championship finished up today about 5, 6 o'clock, something like that. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Betonline. Gang, March Madness is here tonight. The play-in games start tonight.
Yes.
You got to get your account set up, log in, use coupon code BLEAV, BLEAV, get a 50% bonus. You put in $100, they're going to give you 50 back. Go ahead and get you a little action tonight. A little Texas A&M Corpus Christi play-in game tonight. So go ahead and get you some action on that. Then we're going to roll it into Thursday is when the madness starts. It's going to be a blast. Can't wait. It's one of my favorite times of the year. BetOnline is where the game starts. Benjamin,
how much money will you lose during tournament time?
I'm a lightweight. I lost a pretty good bit of money on Sawgrass, so I may just have to sit this one out. I may try to put in a few brackets and a couple of bracket pools, but yeah.
I end up spending friggin' $250 on brackets because everybody's like, "Hey, join our bracket, $10." Yeah. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And then next thing I know, thank goodness it's all electronic. And I don't have to do the old school way of having to keep up with it.
Well, see, I had a theory that there's no way there will be a winner from anyone that played that did not. I'm sorry. Let me try to make this say this correctly. I had a theory that it was going to be impossible for there to be a winner by someone who didn't finish their first round on Thursday. That was my theory. And I don't think, because of the weather and the conditions, I thought everybody would fall way back. Those Thursday guys would just sit there. And I don't think Cam Smith finished his round on Thursday. I think he broke my theory. And I had there was a chance. I may have texted y'all. There was a chance to get how do you say his name? Lahari. I had a chance to get him at plus 8,000, and obviously it didn't work out. But that'd have been some good value. But yeah, so I lost a little bit. I bet basically all those dudes, and none of them obviously won. So because Cam Smith won. So
yep.
Spoiler alert: Cam Smith, the winner of the Players Championship, local, believe it or not. He's from Australia. Lives right around there.
Don't know why we're shocked. Great fishing town in Jacksonville. So I don't know why we even are shocked at that.
Crazy thing that I heard during the broadcast is he flew his mom and his sister in from Australia. And it's the first time he saw his mom in 2 years because of the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
So just imagine the emotions and everything that he's going through. And he just won $3.2 million, taking home the first prize. And honestly, for a while there, it looked like he was going to run away with it. A little bit of drama there at the end.
Yeah.
But man, what a freaking round. I love it. I was texting a buddy of mine. I love it when dudes just come in and take it. They come in and take it away. And that's exactly what Cam did, with a 66 today to win. Had 5 birdies on the back 9, bogeyed 18. But it didn't matter. Started off with 5 birdies in his first 6 holes. I mean, it's just played lights out. And this is a big win for him. I think this is his 5th win.
Second this year. He won the tournament of champions. He won my tournament of champions.
The Century, the Dolphin Trophy. And,
Trophy.
And just his career skyrocket from right here. I mean, it's just absolutely sick. Awesome.
I will say a couple of things to take away from this. Number one is Cam Smith's girlfriend's hotter than I thought she was.
Smoke.
The brunette.
Smoke. Pure smoke.
Then I Googled her to see, because I'd heard she was a golfer. Yes, she's a professional golfer, so she also can play. So that's also pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Jordan
Ontiveros.
Yes. And so, big flex here is I was at Nate's. My wife got a car, so
nice.
I was at Nate's place, and we were watching it on their big screen television in there. I did find it funny that one of the sales guys is not a golfer. And so we were watching the end of it. We watched the final of it, and Lahari missed his chip. He had to chip it on 18 in order to try to tie. He had to try to dunk a wedge in order to, by the way. It was 6 inches from $3 million. And
6 inches from a playoff.
Yes.
Yeah.
From possibly $3 million. So it was funny because that guy said, "Oh man." And Nate goes, "Yeah, it was a pretty big miss." And he goes, "Oh, really?" And he goes, "Yeah, that cost him about $2 million. Not making that." And the guy was like, "He cost him what?"
Yeah. Dude, like, was it Azinger? He was doing all, he was calling all that out. Like, who is it? Is it Azinger that's on the?
Yeah, Azinger is fascinated because when Jack won this tournament, one of his first wins, he won 50 grand. And like the lowest person that finished today, the person that finished dead last in the tournament won $46,000.
He had it like to a science though. So like when they got on to 18, he'll be like, "This putt is for $500,000 or this chip is for $800,000." He did. And when Doug Gim 3-putted, bogeyed 18, I think he 3-putted. He either 3-putted or didn't get up and down, missed a short one. And he's like, "Yeah, that cost him like $400,000. Like that one putt." Like he had it all figured out. It was just throwing that much more salt on the wound. Where do you want to go first? Where do you want to go first, Ben, with this final
there's
round?
all kinds of things. I mean, let's
go. Let's focus on Cam's round, and then there's a couple of storylines we want to talk about. But I want to talk about his shot on 17. I want to talk about the shot on 17 that was a very good miss. That's what I'm going to say.
Best miss anybody could make.
You got a 3-shot lead, and if it's the traditional Sunday pin at TPC, it's on the very right tip of that island green, and everything kind of funnels to it. But typically, everybody tries to hit it right over the bunker, and it just kind of funnels down. He landed right of the pin. He was right of the pin, which is probably how many steps to the edge?
Maybe 4 paces, I would say.
4 paces.
Maybe 4 yards. I don't know. I'm saying maybe 4 to 5 yards. No more than 5 yards. I promise you that. No more than 5 yards.
So I personally think it was a bad miss. Ben, what do you say?
I thought, watching it live, I thought it was a bad miss.
Yeah.
Seeing his interview where he knew he had covered, because he hit a 9 on purpose. He said, I'm hitting a 9 in case I miss it. Plus, I think a wedge would have spun too much. So he knew when it left the club face, it was there because there was no wind. So
does it move enough?
Then it was like, let's just hope it doesn't drift. But
I know that shot. I have that shot so often. That shot so often. It's like, I'm gonna play it safe, and I just baby it. I baby it and kind of slap it out there right. I know that shot so well.
And see, I'm just the opposite. You've seen when I baby it, it turns into a duck hook because I get real handsy and I just come right over the top of it. It's like, you're like, "Hey, swing easy." I'm like, "Bro, if I swing easy, it is going out there, it's going 20 yards and it's turning on its left linker." And
I know that shot so very well.
He said he was aimed at the bunker, and he said, "I have a tendency to shove it a little bit when I take off." So he said, that's why I put it over the bunker, because I knew. He said, "Now, I shoved it a little more than I thought I would."
Yeah.
Like he honestly, he said when it left the club face in his post-round thing, he thought it was like on the stick, because he thought he'd shoved it just enough where it was like literally going to be a gimme. Yeah. And then it kept drifting. He said that's when he got to the point where it was like, "Wait a second.
Pucker.
It's a little too much drift now." And so the difference between that, and I compared that shot to, because somebody I'd seen on Twitter, they compared it to, well, Ricky did that. Ricky did it because Ricky was trying to win a tournament. He did it on purpose.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Ricky
I think
started
he did it in the playoff twice.
He did. And he started out at the water and drew it back because he hits a natural draw. So that was even ballsier because he started it out like over the edge, over that 5 paces to draw it back in.
And it still landed right at the pin.
Yeah,
it almost landed in the exact same spot Cam's ended up. He had a little smirk.
But you're right. Cam did not do his on purpose. Ricky did. Ricky's plan was to go at it. Cam's was not.
When the camera panned to him after they purposely, like, they did the replay, and it was like you could tell when the ball hit the ground, he had this little, like, he kind of looked over his caddy and there was this little smirk, like, oh shit, thank God that got down. But man, what a freaking shot.
I saw you talking with Colonel Steve on Twitter about it because he had brought it up, and that's the thing is he also said in that press conference he was glad that he pushed it a little bit because he thought he had more spin on it. That was another worry he had when he pushed it right, that it was going to come up short and like spin either to the fringe, if not in the water. And because he was aiming left and he was hoping to land it long and bring it off that hill down to the pin. And when he went right, apparently it took some of the backspin off and put more right spin on it so that it didn't spin at all. So he said, if I'd have gone left where I was aiming, he said, I actually would have had a lot tougher putt, like a downhill swinger. He said, so as you said, he called it a good miss, probably the best miss of his life. He's not going to say that, but for $3.something million, I'd say it's a pretty damn good miss.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hole right before that, there was an incredibly bad break. Paul Casey was playing really, really well. And I think at that point in time, let's see, he was 12, he was 11, he was one back. So he was one back. They're on 16, which is they just birdied the hell out of that hole all week. And he hits it into a pitch mark. It was interesting. It didn't look like a divot. It was like where another ball had hit it looked like where a ball had come in, hit the ground and bounced, but it left the ball pit. You know what I'm saying? Like a pitch mark.
No, that's exactly what it was. Faraday described it, and that's exactly what it was.
His ball lands in a pitch mark. So it's like sitting in a hole, but it's not embedded, which is crazy to me that can't be an embedded ball, but it rolls into a pitch mark. It made the pitch mark because they found it rolled, and on video, it rolled into a pitch mark. So it had like a backstop against it complete, and he piped it right down the middle too. So he had to lay up because there's just no way to predict what that thing does. And then he spun one off the green and parred and just kind of blew his chance. It got interesting though. It did get interesting. So Cam Smith, that got him to 14 under. Lahiri was 11 under, I believe, is the way it worked out. Cam goes to 18 and pulls out driver, and everybody's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that, Cam? What are you thinking there, Ben? Because on 16, he hit the biggest snap hook, like immediately in the trees left snap hook.
Well, that's because he was trying to hit a draw, and that's not his natural shot. He was not trying to hit a draw on 18 at all. He even said that. I think he took the philosophy that Charlie Hoagie said, and both he and Keegan took that philosophy, and both he and Keegan ended up in the water. So I think there may be a flaw in Charlie's way of thinking.
Tom?
No, Charlie, when we visited with him, and
that's right.
We asked him, we said, hey, what are you doing at 18? He said, I take my driver and blow it over in the bushes and then just, punch it out. And I'm like, that apparently that punch out is not as easy as it looks.
No, it's terrible.
It wasn't just them. I mean, earlier in the week, Rory punched out of there and hit it in the water.
Yeah.
Those two, Keegan ruined his chances at the tournament by hitting in the water there and ended up taking a double because he did not get up and down like Cam did.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Cam, he took his medicine over there and he went in the water. And even Cam said, I just didn't think. They asked him after this, so what were you thinking? He said, I thought it was going to come out a lot softer. And he said, and as soon as it left the club face, he was like, I knew it was a water ball. Like he said, it didn't even have to get to the fairway yet. Like as soon as it jumped off the club face, he was like, oh man, that's gone.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it got down there and because if it lands left of center in that area, it's going dead left into the water.
Yeah.
There's
You
no way to stop it.
you honestly can like you just about have to like barely get it out into the fairway. Like
Yes.
maybe roll it, 30, 40 yards in the fairway. That's it. Because if it gets going past middle ways with any, and when you're trying to hood it and punch it out, it's going to have right to left spin on it.
Right.
It's going to be moving that way. So,
and you got to keep it low enough to stay out of the bushes because you don't want to be hitting from there again.
No. Yeah.
So that's why he even said, see, you got to take a longer iron in order to get it out because you got to keep it low. He said, and he said, I caught too much ball. He said, it was in a fluffy lie. I thought that my club would probably slip up under the pine needles or the pine needles would probably grab my club a little bit. And he said, none of that happened. He said, I hit it that was the most solid. He said, I hit that was the most solid shot I hit all day.
And what was crazy was, so the timing of the broadcast it was like a movie. Okay. Yeah. So Cam blows it right. And then Lahiri tees off and on 17, the hole behind, and he hits one that it just gets over it. He hit it a little bit shorter than what everybody tries to do. They try to throw it past, let the hill come down. He just creeps it over the bunker, but it's still got the slope and it rolls down below the hole. So he's got about a 12, 15 foot putt for birdie. He jars it. So now he's 12 under and Cam's 14, but Cam's in the junk and he's got to punch out. So then it goes to his punch out and he punches and it rolls through the fairway into the water. So he's 2 in, 3 out, hitting 4 from like inside 100 yards, probably like 80 yards or so. So now you're like, oh my God, we got a playoff brewing. I mean, he's got to get up and down here. He's got to get up and down right here just to have a 1-shot lead.
Now I'm watching this at Nate's place at Airport Motors. And while they're in there doing paperwork, they're like, we're about done. I said, don't worry. As soon as we go to playoff, we are not leaving. We're staying right here. So y'all just take your time, do whatever you need to do.
I was fired up because the playoff at TPC is electric because I believe they go straight to 17, which is absolutely phenomenal. I think they go 17, 18, 17 or something like that.
I think they go like 17, 18, 17, 8 until it's done. That's the only 2 holes they play.
Yeah, until it's dark. Which is amazing. So Cam
usually ends on 17. Most times it does.
Cam has a 80-yard wedge and he hits it to about 6 inches and obviously taps in, saves bogey. Incredible.
He almost made it, by the way.
Almost dunked it for par, which under the circumstances, I know that everything slopes that way, but still, under the circumstances, what a shot.
His countryman, because they brought it up, Adam Scott, when he blew it, he had to do the same thing, and he did not get up and down.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Years ago, and so that shows you the pressure of it. Same scenario. He did get up and down.
Yeah, Adam hooked the 6-iron into the water.
Yeah,
he got to drop way up though. It was not anywhere near where what's his name was way further. Cam was way further out. So he gets up and in for bogey. So he drops to 13. So if Lahiri birdies, they tie. He goes pipe city right down the middle, which there's a cool story about him. We'll go over it in just a second. So he goes pipe city down the middle, and then he has 160 yards in, and he's been hitting just lasers all week. And it seemed like he really tried to work one in there when I don't feel like he necessarily had to do it, because anything, it just hit another little laser like you've been hitting just right of the pin, and it's going to trickle down and give you a shot at it. But it's like he tried to really throw it out and swing it back in, and
if you're his caddy, because he didn't have a good view before that, because Gim tried to do that too. He tried to swing it in and didn't do it. Yeah. And so it's like mentally it's not there, because that's one thing that Azinger said. Azinger said, I don't hit that shot. After just watching my playing partner not hit his correctly, I'm changing shots right now. I'm going to my caddy and I'm saying, now let's do something different. I'm not hitting the hook, because you just saw what happened. So I'm not doing that. And why didn't his caddy tell him, say, look, like you just said, he's like, you've been throwing them up there, like you haven't been working the ball. You just been hitting the ball dead straight. Like, aim 5 yards right of the pin,
It's going to come
hit it
back.
straight. If you pull it a little bit, then you're still on the green and not in the water. If you push it a little bit, the slope's going to keep you from going too far right.
Exactly. It's
Like,
going to go down. I don't know.
Just hit this. I don't know.
They're pros. They do it all the time, but he leaves it out right, misses the green short. And so
I know, but he hadn't done it all day. Like, he had not hit that shot. That's not a shot that doesn't need to be your go-to on the closing hole on 18. Hey, I haven't hit a hook all day. You know what we're going to do here?
Let's hook one. We'll sling one in there. It's like Bubba just making up stuff as he goes. But so then he has to chip in for birdie to tie. And he hit a great chip, rolled down there into about, I don't know, inside of a foot.
It was 6 to 8 inches too. It was close.
Yeah. Tap in for par, makes 2.3 million for coming in second, which is just incredible.
He had the one I don't know what he jumped to. They mentioned it during the broadcast. He was like, I don't know, like 200th in the world rankings, and he jumped all the way up like top 25 just because of this win.
Incredible.
So he's not just the biggest payday, but he is not very well known. He'll get some sponsor money out of this. It'll be a big turnaround for him. So the broadcast team, apparently everybody likes him. Apparently he's a good dude. Lahiri is. So nobody's had, even the broadcast team had nothing but good things to say about him. And you can always tell they won't ever say a guy's a bad guy, but they won't really talk good about him. If they don't like a guy, they had nothing but good things to say about him. So
cool story. And I hope I get this right. So he's a Strixon guy, Strixon iron guy. And I don't think he had he wasn't getting a ton of love maybe from the sponsors, or he just wasn't a guy that just gets a whole lot of the new stuff. And he was really hooked on the 2014 iron set. And I think he tried some new stuff and it wasn't working out for him. So he wanted to go back to those 2014 irons, but he had some really old ones. So he needed new ones, and they didn't make it anymore. So I think he ended up finding a 2014 set that Graham McDowell had. Did I get that right, Ben?
I think that's right. He
got a set from Graham McDowell like 6 months prior to this, and he's been playing really good. It's like kind of got him all back into the groove, and he's been playing really good. So
there's even a better part to that story.
Hit it.
He was not hitting them as well as he hit the old ones that he used to have.
Yeah.
And his swing coach said, well, it's because your old ones are like an ounce and a half heavier than these.
Puts the lead tape on it.
So they put weight on it. And then he said and when they interviewed him, like between rounds, he was like, that's all she wrote. That's all. Once we added the weight, everything was perfect.
Exactly.
Like, he said everything came to form. So
how do you know? Like, I need to find out who can tell me if I need to put tape on my irons or not. Like, how do we find that out? Like, that could be the missing link.
No, it could, because that's what he didn't know. He's a pro, and he's with his swing guy / his club guy. He called him his club guy because
you put lead tape on a driver.
Yes, I have seen that done, but especially back when the Berthas used to be so light. I've seen guys like the tour pros. I think Freddie Couples with his boom boom. He had a boom boom driver at one point in time that was made by Lynx, and Lynx got upset with it because when he would come back, they finally noticed he had a ton of lead tape like on the bot, so you couldn't see the Lynx logo when he would come back. Because
y'all are gonna next time y'all play with me, y'all gonna be like, why you got duct tape all over your driver?
The only time I've done it was with a putter, because I had a Scotty Cameron
that do that a lot.
Unseasoned, like it was unbelievably lighter than every other Cameron that I had.
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine just was like, well, load it up with lead tape. And I put like 3 strips on. You'd be amazed at how 3 strips of lead tape makes it so much heavier. Like, it was unbelievable. Crazy. And so
it doesn't take but a few ounces, and it just kind of changes.
And that's everything. What's funny about it is when he goes to swing guy / his club guy, and literally he watched him hit like less than an hour. Cause here he was telling the story, and he said, he watches me hit on the range, and he immediately says, oh, I know what we got to do. And he just goes in there and he like puts weight on the clubs. And he goes, here, try these. And it was like instant change.
Like, how do you know?
And
how do you know?
And he didn't know. Like, here he didn't know. Like, that guy had to tell him. He said, your clubs are not, not as heavy. And so I would have loved for him to go into detail, like you just said, like, what was he doing in his swing that made it noticeable that the clubs weren't heavy enough?
Why is that a thing? Like, why does that?
Are you catching it thin? Are you, you can't be chunking it, because if it's heavier, that's what will cause you to. Was he catching it thin? Was he, I don't know. Well, just not even necessarily thin to a pro's, just low on the face, not necessarily then to me and you is a hosel rocket that goes screeching over the green at about 10 feet off the ground. But, for a pro, catching it thin is it goes maybe 10 yards further and it still has spin on it and everything else. So that's amazing to me. He's a good story. So speaking of stories, a lot in this tournament, by the way.
Yes. Before we go to the stories, I want to tell you a story about Swannies.co. They got a new line that just dropped all of their new polos, their new hats. They got a crap load of hats, and
I noticed up here and I took it downstairs. Dang it.
I noticed they got 2 new hats of the Delta snapback, which is literally the greatest hat you could ever wear. The Delta snapback is waterproof, sweat proof, flat look. You can get a little flat bill action.
As I like to call it, it's Kyle proof.
Kyle proof, because I used to run really hot. Since I've lost weight, I don't run quite as hot as anymore, but I probably still will when the temps get up. So it's hard to get away from that. But yeah, they got a bunch of new stuff. Check them out. Swannies.co. Use coupon code DadbodGolfPod -25. Take 25% off your next order. This Hayden hat. I'm looking at this Hayden hat with this like printed. They got the coolest logo, I think, possibly in golf. They got this it's like a Navy hat with a logo, with their logo, the Swan logo, and it's like got a print on the logo. It's pretty.
That's what I got. That's the one I had up here and I took downstairs. I was going to wear it tonight. That's the one I got.
That is a sweet hat. That is the Hayden hat. But yeah, use our coupon code and take 25% off. Get you a bunch of hats. Get you a bunch of new polos. Blaine had some of the polos on the other day.
They have a Blaine on the website.
They have a Blaine
polo.
Yeah, they have a Blaine polo on the website. He was wearing, which one was he wearing? I'm looking right now. He was wearing, heck, he may have one that's not even on the site yet.
He does.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Because the ones he sent us the pictures of, they're not up there yet.
Yeah, the new ones come out, I think, in the next couple of weeks. So the second half of the spring arrivals. But man, they're loaded down. Check them out. You'll love them. Let's move on. Swannies.co. All right, there's 2 stories we want to talk about really quick. We love golf drama. So anytime there's golf drama, we're going to talk about it. And believe it or not, Daniel Berger, it kind of revolves around Daniel Berger. Ben, you want to tell the story or you want me to hit it?
Yeah, I'll tell the story. And let's preface this by back in the Ryder Cup. We were
remember the Ryder Cup.
We love Berger yelling at the 100%? Official.
Are you 100% sure? Are you totally sure? Or you're 100% sure?
Well, we got to see that side of him, but with his fellow tour pros.
Yes.
So Berger on 16 starts a ball out. He says left of the flag. His playing partner said he started out at the flag. It cuts right, goes into the water. So then we have to determine point of entry.
Right.
Berger thinks that it's like
way up
40 yards in front of the 20 to 40 yards in front of the green,
which is like a 200-yard difference.
Yes. Because they're thinking it's like at around 190 yards back there. That's what Hovland is thinking.
Yeah.
Joel Damon is also playing in this group, fellow American. So at first I thought, okay, so maybe this is some of this Ryder Cup playback with Hovland, but no, Damon's in this group.
Yeah.
And Damon's full-blooded American. He took his shirt off on 16. Okay.
Yeah. At the previous tournament. Tournament.
Yes, he's full American. And even Damon says, I'm telling it, we're Hovland and I'm speaking for Damon here, think that it crossed back here.
Yeah.
And then Berger says, no, I'm pretty sure it crossed up here. And I told my wife, because my wife's asked me about this when we were watching. I said, watch this arguing that takes place. And she goes, what's going on? Because she didn't really understand the rules. So I was explaining it to her. And she goes, she made the most sense. This is what I love about getting a non-golfer involved. She goes, well, the other 2 guys seem to think it's there. So it seems like to me he'd be outvoted. I said, well, that's not how it works. But you know what? That probably is the way it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they weren't teaming up on him. And so he's explaining to the tour official. They bring the official out. The official basically says, look, we're all standing over there. We don't know where it crossed. So this is up to you amongst the 3 of you to determine where you're going to drop this ball.
Yeah.
And Berger goes on to he's crying about it, where he's like, this is just not right. I shouldn't be having a drop here. I've never.
I'm going to drop here. I'm going to drop here, but this is a bad drop. It's a bad drop.
I've never made a bad drop in my career, and I'm going to start today. Yeah. I'm not starting today.
And then the rules official, honestly, the rules official, without saying it, he's like, hey, look, quit being a bitch and just drop the ball. I mean, I wish he would have just said what was on his mind, because, I mean, that's essentially what he said was like, look, these two guys say it went over here. I mean, you do what you want to do, but I mean, I don't think they're making it up. It's basically what he's saying. He's
and
like,
Damon even kind of bowed out a little bit.
Yeah, he like walked off. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it went in right here, but
he's like, he's like, y'all figure it out. But Hovland was pretty adamant. Hovland was like, and the way Hovland explained it, he said, look, we were behind him when he hit. He said, Joel and I, because he answered questions afterwards. He said, Joel and I, he said, I'm not trying to put words in Joel's mouth, but Joel and I were behind him when he hit. It never got left of the flag. So there's no way it could have crossed where he said it crossed, because he started it at the flag, and it peeled back right.
Yeah, you can't cross there. The way it's got the water, it's all carry for the most part.
And Berger's saying he started it left of the flag and it came back.
Yeah,
and they're just like, no, bro,
I didn't see it, but I don't feel like Hovland and them.
The angles they showed, because I saw it, they still didn't have a straight on angle, so you couldn't tell from the camera angle.
Well, if he went and
so
honestly,
essentially, Hovland and Damon are the ones that had the best angle, because they'd already hit, because they were short of where he was, so they were waiting on him to hit, so they were watching him from behind.
Well, another thing is the pin was out on the point, so like he would have had to go way left of the pin for it to then circle back and cross over and actually cross over
for where he wanted to drop. Yeah, for sure.
It would have had to have been like a big banana cut. But regardless, it was funny. Daniel Berger kind of went with the whole, well, I'm gonna do it, but it's not right kind of thing. And it's just typical golf drama. It was pretty funny.
Post match, he interviewed. I thought it was funny. He goes, I'm 100% sure I'm in the right, but I dropped right there because I thought that was just the best place to drop. I'm like, yeah, you felt guilty. Like, let's just call it what it was. And
he probably did think he was right. He was just kind of pissed that it's kind of like one of those things where like you can say something bad about your mom, but if somebody else says something bad about your mom, you're like, hey, that's my mom, kind of thing. Like I can say, whatever, but if you say it, I'm going to get mad even if you're right. And
hey, I'm glad Hovland did this, because I critiqued last week. I critiqued Casey and whoever was playing with him, looking out for a hole behind them.
Yeah.
But these were his playing partners. And I was glad that Hovland spoke up, because Berger was headed up there to drop.
Yeah.
And like Hovland was like, hey, bro, where you going? Like, it went in back here. And
the reason, hey, and this is another thing, like Hovland was 8 under, Berger was 7 under, or vice versa. One position could be hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
They weren't really in it because it was really late in the round, and like they didn't really have a chance to win. But like, hey, if I'm ahead of you by a couple of shots, like that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars a swing. So like Hovland, like
purse, it's a $20 million purse. And I saw the tweet, and I did agree with this. It was like, if this is a regular tour event where it's a $2 million purse, nobody says a word. No. $20 million purse where you got a couple $100,000 on the line between the different places.
Boy, howdy. Get your ass back here.
Your ass is dropping back here.
Yeah, buddy. Come on back to the house, big boy.
Yeah. Take the long walk.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was good. It's all over Twitter.
He missed because the whole time I was sitting there watching it, and
then Berger hit in the water, I think. It was Sam Burns.
That was Sam Burns.
Yeah, right.
Berger, he got up down for bogey from there. But I would have died laughing because I thought about this too. While it was going on, I thought, oh man, what salt in the wound it would be if Hovland looked at him and said, you need a cart to take you back to where it went in? Like, can I call you a cart?
Oh.
I did. I said that while it was going on. I looked at Lori and I said, I flat out look at him right now and I go, hey, can I call a cart over here to take you back to where you're supposed to drop? Hey, bub, can I get you a cart? Go back.
Come on back here, bub.
Oh, man.
Another story. This is not necessarily, I don't think it was on the last round, but this is an example of
the same hole the day before. Exact same
hole the day before. This is kind of what we talked about when we talk about golf rules, that like sometimes you just got to use common sense. Like sometimes common sense has to take over, and you have to say, was there intent here to give himself an advantage, or like, especially if it ends up being, super like hard on the like, especially if it's like extremely penalizing. But Keegan Bradley, he's on 16. He goes and he marks his ball, but he leaves the ball there, but the mark is down. Am I right, Ben?
Yes, that's the way he reads putts that way. And I do, when I mark it, I'll do that a lot too, because
so you can line it up and you can.
I just like the visual of seeing the ball there and leaving the mark right behind it.
So mark ball. He steps back, wind blows, ball rolls, and he says, "Hey, did y'all see that? My ball is marked." And they're like, "Yep, put it back." Basically, he puts it back, putts it, and these
are his playing partners. He asked too, by the way. He
asked. Puts it back, putts it. Like a couple of holes later, the rules official comes like, "Hey, I got to give you a 2-stroke penalty because when the ball's on the ground, it's in play, even if
there's a mark behind it.
Even if there's a mark behind it, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But so
because he had not addressed the ball.
We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And if the mark is there, then you can't putt the ball. I can't go putt it with a mark. So how is it in play?
It's not in play.
How is it in play if the mark is down, the ball's there? I mean, I can't go putt the ball and put it in play, or it's a penalty. I believe it's a penalty then. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. How is it the intent? Like, I get it if you move the mark or if the ball is just sitting on the green and then an animal, or not an animal, if the wind hits it or something and it moves, I get that. That happens. But he marked the ball. Like, the ball is marked. There's no way you can call that ball in play. You just can't do it.
And what if it's like, let's just say it's the British Open, or as Kyle calls it, the Open Championship, and it blows the ball closer to the hole. Then that's an advantage. You get to pick your mark up and go mark it up there where the new placement is.
Yeah.
Like, that's stupid.
He'd have taken that, though.
You're damn right he would have taken it. There's no doubt in my mind he would have taken that.
It blew off. Yeah, but it blew off the green. Yeah.
There's a couple of things that bother me on this. Number one is he took the time to ask his playing partners, and they said, "Yep, that's cool. Yep, you got to put it back down." So none of them knew, because they all had thought that this was one of the rule changes that the PGA had instilled to make the game better and faster and more and less confusing. So when he asked his playing partners, every group is assigned a tour professional or a pro, a rules person. Why does the rules person not step up and say,
that sucked. You had it marked.
Yeah, like why didn't the rules person say, like, when he's asking it, because this isn't something he just leaned up and asked real quick. Like, he asked and they stood there for a little bit and he looked at it, and so you can tell that they're debating. Like, why didn't the rules official step in there and go, you need to mark it from its new spot. You need to pick your mark up and mark it from its new spot. Like, I don't understand why they don't step, because clearly they've got questions, and maybe that's what the rule is. I don't know. Maybe they have to literally look at the rules official, address the rules official, and say, "Hey, Mr. Rules Official, what do I do here?"
Yeah.
But
silly stuff.
I'm like you. That's not good for the game. You got not just one pro, you got 3 pros and 3 caddies that all think that he did the right thing. So basically, you got 6 people that are involved in professional golf that all think he made the right decision. And then he gets told 4 holes later, "Hey, by the way, you took a 7 on that hole, not a 5.
You're talking like, was this in the Saturday round? Like, he could have missed the cut. He could have missed the cut.
Yeah.
Like, it could have, what if that makes you miss the cut, and then you got a purse that's just outrageous? Like,
no, it was in his third round. It was his third round.
Regardless.
Yeah, it was his third round. Yeah.
Regardless, 2 strokes is the difference in hundreds of thousands of dollars.
In this tournament, hell yeah, it is. I mean, as we said with the previous scenario, if this is a $2 million purse and there's maybe $2,000 or $3,000 difference in the prize money here, you don't think anything of it. But being $150,000 difference in prize money from him finishing out of the top 10 and in the top 10, man, that's a tough pill to swallow. And they interviewed him afterwards. He said he didn't know the rule. He didn't realize that rule. He thought they changed the rule. The other pros did. And he said he thought he handled himself better than what he did.
You can do this with everybody. Okay. You can do this with everybody. But if those 2 strokes don't happen, he steps up to 17, 14 under. No, I'm sorry. Let's see. He finished 9, lost 3 shots on. So that means he was 12 under. Yeah, 14 under. He steps up to 17, 14 under if that doesn't happen.
No, he stepped up 17, 12. He didn't find out till he played the back first. So he didn't find out until hole number 4.
I'm saying if that doesn't happen, if that stupid rule doesn't happen, he doesn't get docked 2 shots. He steps up to 17 on Sunday or on Monday, I guess, today, 14 under, because he was 12 under when he got to 14 or to 17, and he goes bogey double to finish 9 under. So he steps up to 17, 14 under. If that doesn't happen, now you can do that with everything. Like what if
I see what you're saying now. Yeah,
but still, that's just stupid. You know, some stupid stupid rule like that.
I get it. This question has been brought about ever since the DJ controversy of being in the sand.
Yeah.
When is a good time to tell a pro? I think they ought to give them a choice. I think that a pro ought to determine with the rules official that they're playing with. They ought to say before the round, they don't tell me about any penalties I have until right before I sign my card.
Hey, Bob, you on the good news or the bad news?
Because it did. Keegan said when he got the news on 4 after he'd made the turn, because he played the back first, when he got the news on 4, he doesn't even remember playing 4, 5, and 6. Like he was fuming. He said he was furious. So you're mentally not in the game at that point. So like, I don't know, you know, because there have been rules officials. They've asked rules officials, well, what do you think the best thing to do is? And just about every rules official says, I really would like to tell them right when they do it. Like I really want to be able to tell them right then.
And I just got confirmation from a pro.
Yeah,
you cannot putt a ball while it's marked. So
that has it in play.
If you can't putt a ball while it's marked, how is it if it blows off the mark? How does that count? How does that count?
That's a dumb rule. That rule needs to be amended immediately because of that.
We're going to the Saudi League. This is going to be a Saudi League podcast. If you don't change it immediately, PGA, we're leaving. Just kidding.
That was Saudi League that's folding.
The Saudi League. There's going to be 7 dudes to cover. They're going to have 10 dudes, and there's going to be like 10 dudes up at a tournament. Everyone's going to be like, hey, we're going to follow.
They're going to have to interview with us because nobody else is going to want to talk to them.
It's a 1-shot penalty if you putt a ball on the mark, but it's a 2-shot penalty if it rolls off your mark and you don't
and then play it from the new spot.
And you don't play it from the new spot. It's the dumbest shit ever.
Also, why is that the case? Because that's not the case in the fairway where, okay, I don't know. It's got something to do with the mark. Because same thing on the green. My ball's on the green. You chip up and you hit my ball. I have to replace my ball
back to where it was.
I don't get to play. You get to play where yours ended up.
Yeah.
But I have to put mine back. And
it wasn't marked.
With this, so here's the thing. I don't know. It's stupid.
How do you make it? Yeah, exactly.
That's dumb. It's just dumb.
It's just dumb.
No, none of it's consistent. That would be my thing. If I'm Keegan and I'm in the scorer's tent and they're telling me, I'm like, this is so stupid. That's not consistent. Like y'all said, y'all want to make the game better, and you're not making it better.
Yep, exactly. Shout out Grayson Huff.
Is Grayson the one that gave you?
Yeah. I figured he would respond pretty quick. Ben, that's gonna wrap it up. Up. Can Smith, the Aussie wonder with the ugliest mustache mullet combo that has ever. He's actually, when he's got a short haircut, he's a good looking dude. I
love his short profile picture is him with the short haircut. That's what they use on all of them. And now,
golly,
that's the thing is he doesn't look normal in that photo because we're so used to seeing him with a mullet.
Yeah. So let's used to seeing him look like blonde Jeff Foxworthy playing golf. It's absolutely amazing.
One of the guys at the Airport Motors said too, he said, man, why does he have his hair like that? I'd cut it. And Nate immediately spoke up. Nate said, he goes on to win this tournament and win $3 million. He's going to leave that hair like that for quite a while, bub.
Absolutely. I'll grow my hair however I want to grow it.
Yep.
So we're talking about consistency earlier. Another thing that's very consistent, Primo Golf apparel.
Yes.
The joggers are absolutely fantastic.
Jogger weather right now.
It's jogger weather. It's like that in betweener, but you might get a little warm, but you know what? Your pants will still feel good. They kind of keep you a little bit warm at the same time. Transitional. That's the word I was going for. Transitional style.
It fits you.
Yeah, that fits you. Look great. PrimoGolfApparel.com. Use coupon code DADPOD 15. Take 15% off your order. Get you 4 or 5 different colors. And let's go. Let's start the craze. Start the jog. Get the jogger training rolling. I saw several joggers. I've seen several joggers on tour already. Wasn't much this weekend because it was kind of chilly, but yeah, it's starting to be a big thing. PrimoGolfApparel.com. Guys, appreciate it. We're going to come back again tomorrow. So 3 shows in a row. Would you rather Wednesday? It'll be episode 151. Nate will be back with some diabolical scenarios, and it's going to be a blast. Tonight's episode was brought to you by Bet Online. March Madness. Go set the account up now.
Where the game starts.
Gentlemen, men, women, ladies, everybody that listens, thank you. Follow us on all social media and check us out tomorrow. So Dadbod Golf Pod.
Always stroking.